Welcome to a Drop Tent Media production.
The Porcupine with Adam Nutter.
Hey, that's me. What's up, Adam Nutter? What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining. I know it's been like a few weeks since I've done an episode. I've been fucking busy with stand-up and comedy and all the other libertarian stuff too, actually. I've been fucking mad busy. But thanks for joining us. Or me, I should say. Just putting this out there everywhere. All right. We are good to go live. Bam. All right. Guys, I will be on the road this year doing comedy in the South a lot. I think I'm going to try to do the whole Southern run with some stuff we're beating setups like Florida, Texas, Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia, even the Carolinas, Ohio, which isn't really South, but you guys get it. I'm going to be there a lot. So when I start putting that shit out on like my social media, it'd be sweet. You can buy tickets. So droptent.com/events for all the tickets I'll be having out there. Again, follow me at Adam Nutter just for all the social media and stuff like that. If you guys want to support this show directly, buy a fucking shirt. Bam, little art from Top Lobster himself. Your Disobey Your Local Nutter shirt or just a regular porcupine shirt. They're super comfortable. I cut the sleeves off in the summertime because I'm white trash and that's how we roll. But get your shirt, droptent.com/store for all that. I think that's it as far as plugging myself goes. Yeah, that's it. Other than that, my guest today, you all know him. You guys fucking love him. The man, the myth, the legend from All That Remains, Phil Labonte, everybody.
Hello, Adam, and hello, everybody out there on
What's up, man?
The internet.
Thanks for doing this.
Sure. It's good talking.
Super fun. Two guys who had nothing better to do on a Monday afternoon at 2 in the afternoon.
That's called success, Adam. when you can get on the internet and talk smack about other people at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon, that means that you are successful.
That's true. There's especially on Twitter and like all social media, you know, you're out there and you and I, we put ourselves out there a lot, especially with our political beliefs and like how we feel. And like people do not fuck with that. They hate it. Yep. They hate that we think that way. We're in entertainment. So I get this a lot. I'm sure you do too. I get this a lot. You're not funny.
Oh yeah. I don't get that a lot because I'm not really intending to be funny. I wish I was fucking funny. It would rule. But most of the time I just get, you can't sing.
Right.
That you can't sing. Okay.
And then I'm like, oh man, I guess I'll pack it up. I guess my career's over because some fucking guy who will never see me anyway is not my fan base is like now saying I suck. Like I don't care, dude. It's irrelevant to me. Totally.
You can't sing, and I'm like, did you hear like the whole of the '60s? Everybody was writing anti-war music that was mad, and like nobody could sing, and then they became like legendary. Tell that to Neil Young.
Well, fuck Neil Young now, but
well, yeah, I mean, but even still, it's like, I mean, like, come on.
Yeah, no, it's and also like that response, like the "you suck" response.
Yeah,
it's like that's why you do what you do and I do what I do because that uncreative bullshit fucking hack response you gave me.
Yeah, right.
You just called me an unfunny comic. Like, dude, come up with something better. Say I'm gay, I suck dick. Something more creative than just like you're not funny. Nailed it. And like he's like going off to his friends like, yeah, I told some comic on Twitter.
Yeah, it's like, man, if that's your line, your band sucks, your comedy sucks. Well, cool, dude.
Right.
Good job. Flaccid, just the most flaccid insults. Like, give me something.
It's so uncreative. It's so uncreative. And it's like, yeah, keep fucking doing what you do. Keep putting fucking numbers into your computer and you'll never ever. And like, I'm a no one. Like, I want that to be clear. I'm a fucking no one.
I want to expand on that point though, because it's not about what they do. Mm-hmm. It's about what they're not doing.
Yep.
They're not doing what they feel like they want to do. And that's a lot of times when it comes to people that are critical on the internet, I think. A lot of times it comes from, I imagine what you do is easy. I imagine if I felt like doing it, I could do it. And I imagine that I just don't want to do it. And that's the reason that I don't do what you do successfully. In fact, better than you, better than everybody is just because I don't want to. And it's all imagination. It's all just this fabricated thing they came up with in their head. So that way they could say, I'm better than you. And then just be like, look at me, I won that. And it's like, there's, like, really good job, dude.
I guess it's kind of like us being like, I could have made that throw in the NFL. Like, what are you doing, Josh Allen? It's like, okay, guy, you're no one. Yeah, it's like
talk all kinds of shit about Tom Brady dropping that pass all you want, like Tom Brady is not supposed to catch footballs, and the rings prove it.
And another interesting thing that I think we're both, you again at a much high, everything I compare us to, you're at a much higher scale. Am I ready to be understanding? I understand this, but I still do deal with this at a much lower scale than Phil. So like my question to you is, I guess, now, especially with our world, with the whole mandate stuff and the vaccine passport stuff, like, are you just refusing to play at places that require that stuff?
No, because for me personally, I'm in a band with people that, have some different, political opinions. And because of that, it's not the Phil, as much as I'm the one that's most out there and most vocal, the band is not the Phil Labonte show. Everyone's input matters. And what, I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, we ain't playing places if you got to get a vaccine. So screw you all. I'm not going to do that to the multitude of people that are involved with, all that remains. Because I think that, like, I'm not super offended by places that are like, look, you got to have a vaccine, got to have the vaccine passport to come in. I'm not super offended by it. I get it. If you don't want to, I get it that you don't want to get the vaccine. That's totally cool. I've got a vaccine, but I'm not getting the booster, because I don't see the need for it. And it's really about your personal choices. And I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to go on tour with the guys that I'm in a band with and help create a life for these people, because I have, because I'm a libertarian or whatever. My dog is going to be a pain in the ass. Hold on one second.
It's cool. I love dogs. Mine's sleeping somewhere. Oh, I think I locked him out.
I wish mine was sleeping. She knows as soon as I get on the start talking, like whether I'm streaming or doing a podcast or whatever. As soon as she sees that, it's like she's like, all right, asshole, give me something to eat.
Yeah, it's like, now it's time, bitch.
Exactly. She's like, I know this. Get in there.
So I guess that is the good thing with me, is I don't have to worry about that shit. I can just be like, well, I don't want to play here or not. But it's true. I guess with the multitude of other people, especially if they're not like-minded. It's true. You guys aren't a fucking libertarian band.
Yeah.
It's like you guys are going out there just singing libertarian songs, like, which I guess people might get confused about, because you're the front, not even the front man of the band. Like I said, you just said, like, you're kind of like the front face of the band. Anyways, people are like, oh, I guess it's a libertarian band. It's like, no. Have you listened to a song of theirs?
No, our biggest, like our biggest and most popular songs are all about chicks.
Yeah.
Which is,
I think it's every song ever.
It works. Like, if you're writing something, I got this from Dave Mustaine. Dave Mustaine said that if you write songs about events and people, then they're dated. If you write songs about feelings and emotions and stuff like that, then they're timeless. And if you look back, it's not just about relationships with chicks and stuff, even though that's something that, or, relationships with people, it's like, that's something that most people can relate to. But you look back at, like, Hook and Mouth, which is on the So Far So Good So What record, I think it came out in like 86 or something like that, or 87. And that was, that was super against the censorship and the PMRC, et cetera, et cetera. So,
yeah. I guess another question I want to ask you is, like, do you get shit from, like, your bandmates?
No.
Oh, that's cool.
No.
I guess you wouldn't be a band if you did.
Yeah, and also all that remains is not a one-man show,
right?
But I did start the band,
right.
So it's a democracy. Like, it's not a democracy. It's most things are handled democratically, but it's still my band. You know what I mean? So
Sean Patrick wants to know. He says, Phil, when are you going to denounce Joe Rogan like Neil Young?
I'm a Joe Rogan fan. I'm not a fan of Neil Young particularly, and I'm not a fan of Spotify as a concept.
Yeah, that stuff is fucking wild. What's happening with Rogan, and like all these other artists have they feel like they're so important, where they're like, we are more important than Joe. I'm not even saying that Joe Rogan's the most important guy ever, obviously, but like the fact that Hey man, he has more daily listens than you do. They paid him $150 million. They didn't pay Neil Young $150 million to be on their fucking platform.
No, my buddy Mark, who used to sing in this band Chimera, he had the best take. He's like, I'm sure that all those Neil Young fans are really aware of what a Spotify is. You know,
I
like,
tweeted that out. I said that too. I was like, every Neil
okay,
Young fan right now ever is like, what the fuck is Spotify?
yeah, like,
Yeah.
come on. So it's like it's Neil Young. It's like cool. Neil Young is taking a stance that it will have almost no effect on his life because his fans don't listen to Spotify, first of all, and second of all, Spotify doesn't pay dick. Right. So like Neil Young he's like, check me out, like, right, like, look at this, blah blah blah. But like, I mean, it's Neil Young fans are not worried about Spotify. And it's not a make or break thing. Like, I literally downloaded Spotify, listened to the most recent podcast with James Lindsay and Joe Rogan, and then deleted Spotify. Like, I don't have a Spotify account. I don't use it. I'm not a fan of the streaming services. I do have an Apple Music account because it's easy to use, and it's already in my phone. And there are times when I need to get, music out of it for work, essentially, honestly. Yeah. But I don't listen to music for entertainment like that. If I want to listen to music, I'm going to sit down and actively listen to music. Music isn't on in the background for me. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, put on music and it's in the background. And that's just the way that it is. For me, it's always like some kind of podcast in the background that I'm half listening to. So I'm not a fan of Spotify personally. And I really don't worry about, I don't worry about what Spotify does, and I don't worry about Neil Young, and I don't think anybody else is worried about Neil Young not being on Spotify because they're gonna go and listen to Joe Rogan's show.
Right, I think that's fair. So that's it. So Spotify pays nothing, and I guess you would know better than anybody who I talk to.
They don't pay nothing, but they don't pay well.
Right.
And they're the owner. I'm not a fan. Like the guy that started it or whatever. He made some snide remark about. He's like, musicians need to understand that, it's not a thing where you put out a record every 2 years and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, look, you can be the person that came up with the creative destructive force. Right. And that's fine. And that's part of a free market and stuff. But when you're a dick about it, you're still a dick.
Right.
And if you're just like, well, you guys got to adapt to the market. And it's like, look, there's a lot of artists that are in contracts that can't just put out music every couple days. Thankfully, I'm almost out of my contract deal. I got one more record and we're recouped. So I'm in a uniquely good position. Well, not uniquely, but an exceedingly rare good position. Most artists aren't. So like when he is so dismissive of the effect his creation has on the music industry, and then to glibly act as if 0.0007 cents for every spin is like fair. I don't think that's at the very least, it's not someone that I would want to hang out with or someone that I'm going to speak positively of. Maybe it's not illegal, maybe it's not immoral, but I'm kind of just like, well, you're kind of a pile and I wouldn't want to be your friend.
Wasn't it also kind of Taylor Swift's point though, too, with the whole Spotify deal initially? Like she kind of had a point, right? Like she had like she was right.
Yeah. I mean, as much as everybody back in, like Lars was right back 25 years ago or whatever, 23 years ago when they first started getting into it over Napster.
Yeah. Now,
the stuff that Lars was saying was correct. It's like it was. Again, he probably delivered it poorly, or there wasn't a PR messaging campaign to go along with it to explain it. But he wasn't wrong. Lars was totally right. The way that Napster affected the music industry and stuff like that. The record labels responded slowly, continued to scoop up all the properties they could. If you look now, the record companies are still doing that by trying to buy out artist catalogs. You look at, there's been a massive buying spree from labels and music groups purchasing entire catalogs. They wanted to buy our catalog, but they weren't offering me enough money. I was like, screw you. I can make more money off the catalog if I keep it. So
those it's funny, as a teenager, I gave every computer I owned all the viruses in the world, downloading shit from LimeWire, because I was like, I don't give a shit, like, because you're a kid, you don't get.
Yeah.
And then me now as an adult who does comedy, who like is in the entertainment world, I'd be furious if people were like ripping off my like one-line jokes of mine, or like even punchlines, and like taking and putting it out there. I'm like, what are you doing? That's my work. How dare you? I would be such a cunt about it. But like, so like now as an adult, I totally get it. But as a kid, I was like, fuck you, you fucking bitch. You're a millionaire. And it wasn't even really about I get it. It's not even about the money. It's so much about just like the property and like the work you put into it. And then, because touring is where you make money pretty much, right? Not even so much record sales.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like people say, oh, well, you know, they're millionaires, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, most bands aren't. Most working musicians, most touring musicians are not.
Right.
Are not millionaires. They're, you know, if you go by net worth, maybe some of them are, because the value of their business is over $1 million. So if you look at the whole the entire
band itself,
career,
right,
and all the stuff that they've done, it comes to over $1 million. Maybe they're a millionaire that way. But most artists that are in bands that tour and stuff, they're not making over six figures. Honestly, most of them aren't. Most of them are not most years. So
that's
the idea that, so that it's really, really hard to hear people say, oh, you're a blah, blah, blah millionaire, and know that like, nah, the people that you're talking smack about, they're not rich, and you not paying for, not supporting them in some way, really, even though you're ignorant about the situation. I get it. Like I'm ignorant about so much stuff. Like obviously it's almost infinite, the things I don't know, and that's the way that we go through life as just being human beings. But still, like, to so quickly be like, well, I saw something on TV and it looks like you're wealthy, so I don't feel bad about, taking things. That's the same kind of mindset that like communists have. They're always like, oh, well, they're rich, so it's okay if I steal it. It's like, well, look, if you're an egoist and you believe that like all morality is a spook and it's all made up and everything's a construct, so it doesn't really matter. And property, if that's your ideological perspective, that's one thing. Fine, okay. But if your perspective is they're rich so they deserve it, that means you're garbage.
Oh,
right?
For
like,
sure, yeah.
If you have a philosophy based in anarchist and in anarchist philosophy and stuff, and there's a reason because you don't recognize that, I can at least understand. If it's just, well, I think that person has a lot of stuff, so it doesn't matter that I, want bad things to happen to them. No, that just means you're garbage.
Yeah, it's fair. When the world shut down over the flu, how did that affect your touring? Like, did that hit you hard? Like you guys, because like, again, not the same, everybody who's gonna give you shit when I say this, but like I went from doing like 15 shows a month to I did like 20 shows all of 2020, I think.
Yeah.
Which again, not the same, I understand, but like, so I can only imagine how it affected you.
Hey, get in there. We had a tour lined up that was 2 months long that got canceled right in the so when everyone started thinking, what is this? Like, right. So like end of February, beginning of March, where people are just like, yo, shit's getting weird. Right. Like I remember I was watching Styx Hexenhammer videos and he was talking about COVID in December, right, of 1999. And then I'm like, all right. So I actually was like, maybe I should get a mask. And I actually bought a mask in like January before it really started to come over here. And then stuff started getting weird. And then they started canceling stuff, so we lost one whole tour, and there was a bunch of fly dates that we had planned for the summer. So the rest of the year we didn't work. And then the following year, last summer, we had a bunch of fly shows that we did. But we had to cancel like 5 of them, which is basically for a month, because one of our guys got COVID. And so he got the Delta. And because of that, we had to, they were like, oh, you got COVID, you can't fly, obviously, because this is back in, August. So you couldn't fly if you had COVID, and you couldn't, the venues were like, no, we're not. If you have a test that pops positive, then you are not going to be allowed on ground. So we couldn't do the show.
I find it very interesting how if you noticed how they were doing all this testing back then for like everything, like everyone's getting swabbed for any like event,
Yep.
and now the NFL playoffs are like in full swing, and there hasn't been like one player in the COVID protocol. There hasn't been like one test gone awry, like not even a false positive. It just like when does this end? Like when does this bullshit fucking end? It's crazy.
It ends when we stop. Like when it ends when enough people say, no, we're not doing this anymore. And so that's what it is. And there's going to be some friction. So there's going to be run-ins with the police. There's already been some in New York, but hopefully, and this is what I really feel like is going to happen. I'm not usually all that interested in predicting the future, and I'm not making a prediction. This is just my gut, right? I feel like it's over now. Like people are done. And the government hasn't quite caught up. Like I feel like most people, like only the most Democrat, and I'm not talking about leftist. I'm talking about Democrat, right. Establishment Democrat. Only the most I hate Donald Trump,
right.
Democrat out there is saying yes. Only the pure Democrats are saying yes, and that's what it is because it's a purity test, you know.
Yeah,
so
it's. But like I was saying this the other day, I'm not even mad at politicians anymore because like they're evil and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Like they're doing evil, and like we know that. I get mad at like our fellow Americans and countrymen and like just peers who are like still buying into the narrative so hard with like the mask stuff and the fucking and the mandate stuff. It's like they're the actual problem, not Biden, who we know is literally starting a war and like you know, putting on mandates. Like we know they're evil. We know their job. Their role is to do what they're doing. It's everything else. It's fucking shit up.
I mean, everybody. I try not to make these kind of comparisons just because they're so overdone. But like, you know, I keep thinking back to the scene in The Matrix when the guy's like, look, everyone that's still plugged in is a bad guy. You know, everyone that still looks at the government and says the government wants good things for the American people, they're still plugged in and they're still going to think that you're wrong and evil. So, I mean, I'm not saying that obviously I'm not saying that means that it's okay to just start, you know, treating people like they're robots or or they're less than human. But you have to understand they're going to treat you as if you have penises growing out of your forehead. Just limp wieners. Because to them, like it just doesn't make any sense because they think the government wants good things for them. They think the government wants good things for the people. Government has no desire for good things to happen for the people. The only thing the government wants is for the people to continue to vote for the politicians that put the bureaucracy in place. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
Like they don't, and if they wanted good things for the people, they would do things that were good for the country, and they continue to do things that are bad for the country in the long run.
Yeah. And like, it's easy to shit on all the lefties because it's like they're the obvious target because it's hanging fruit. I mean, it's literally you just pick it and you're like, you're a dumb home run. You know, you constantly have home runs off them. But it's the people who are still defending like the Trump bullshit. It's like he's the one who put us in the lockdowns.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, he's the one who could have fired Fauci at any time, I think. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Like he didn't do and he's still touting like the vaccine is like this fucking cure all end all, you know, godlike fucking cure. It's like you guys are also not helping. Like you guys are not helping either. It's like we got to get rid of all this bullshit and just be like, this is all bad. Medical freedom for everybody. Do what the fuck you want. Stop the fucking mandates. And so I also find it weird how all Europe is like, we're done. But
that's part of the reason why. That's part of the reason why I think that it's going to come to part of the reason why my gut feeling is the U.S. is going to do that. Europe's over it. The U.K. just ended everything, and it's election season. Elections are coming, and because of those two things, I really think the thing is, look, this is a morbid calculation, but this is the calculation that the Democrats have to make. Right? The Republicans are not going to vote for us. period. So that's it.
Right.
We had, so they have to somehow get the independents. The independents are the ones that are like, well, Jon Stewart said that it was probably from Wuhan. And well, this other person said that, the vaccines aren't working all that great. And well, they're the ones that aren't automatically against the government, but they're like, well, all these people that I trust in media and stuff, they're starting to say that it's not working. And I hear they're stopping it in Europe. So why does this politician want me to keep my kid out of school? And, when I got to get back to work and because it all boils down to people care about their lives, right? So especially the moderates and the independents. Moderates and independents don't give a shit about politics most of the time. They want to live their lives and be left alone. The more you inject politics into their life, the less they like it. So they want to be left alone to go about their business. And the more the government says you have to do that and you have to do that, this and that, and blah, 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 the less they like it. So I think that's going to turn into it's going to turn into a bad thing for the Democrats at the ballot box. And I think that they're going to attempt to stop it by trying to end lockdowns and et cetera. But I think I think it's too little too late now, but that's what I think is going to happen.
No, I think that's definitely some fair points. But then, like New York, I mean, it just got shot down. But they were going to put that mask mandate back into effect today or tomorrow.
Sure.
And then it's like, that's what makes me go, well, are we done here? Because that's a fucking it's like literally a 2-year step back. Especially, I'm probably gonna get in fucking trouble from this, but like masks don't work. Like, like that's already been proven thousands of fucking times. And they were gonna put a whole statewide fucking mandate back into effect for children. It's like evil shit. And then you see that mayor yesterday or 2 days, he's at some giant event where everyone's unmasked, hanging out together, and they're like fucking hanging on shoulders, be like, "Hey, motherfucker!" It's like, dude, this is such fucking theater, and that's what I'm saying. Anybody who doesn't see it as theater you're retarded. Like yes. There's no other answer. Like I'm sorry, that's the answer, but that's the answer. It's either you're truly retarded or you are evil and playing along with it. Like there's no middle. That's it.
I think the only other option is ideologues. I think that they don't I think that people can genuinely believe two conflicting things at the same time. I think double think is real. People really do that. And it's kind of shocking when you see it in person and when you're like, whoa, you really believe that and you really believe that. You see the emotional reaction from the same person about those things. So that it's not made up. It's real. They believe it. And then it's just like, whoa, okay. So I think that there are people out there that really believe the conflicting stuff. A lot of it is because they don't know what to do. Most people, they're just like, I don't understand. I don't know. And they want to rely on the government. But the government now is a different government than it was 20 years ago. And that government is a different government than it was 20 years before that. And we don't have a friendly to the American people government anymore. The government has been on edge about American citizens and terrorism and stuff for the better part of 25 years. And now the government is paranoid and everybody's the bad guy and it's always looking and it wants to keep that state of emergency. So it's always looking for bad guys it's always looking for people to call terrorists. And now they've got, the people that are not Democrats, libertarians, anarchists, and Republicans are all tossed into one big group. And you're all the deplorables now. You thought it was just you thought it was just the racists, huh? Nope. Now it's anyone who's not a Democrat. Good job, Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I'm sure you saw the federal production of the Patriot Front. Those,
I don't know what the deal is with that. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if it was feds, especially considering the Whitmer kidnapping thing was like 75% federal agents.
I think it was more than that.
Yeah, it's like they convinced like 3 regular people to like come to a meeting where a bunch of feds were talking about kidnapping Whitmer, and there were three people that were not feds there that were probably just like, "Are you guys fucking serious?"
Yeah. I mean, well, I forgot who said this, but ever since I heard it, it's true. I again, credit to whoever said it, but they went, Name one crime the FBI hasn't solved that they weren't involved in. it's like
Right.
oh yeah, I can't.
It's true.
I
Yeah.
fucking can't.
I can't think
You
of anything they did.
Everybody gets killed who they're not, like in a botched operation or something like that, or they just don't solve the crime. Like it just goes unsolved forever because they're fucking trash. But watching that, I mean, did you see that last video they put out, the Patriot Front guys?
Oh, well, the dude zigged.
Yeah, and then he's like,
I can say that now that we're not recording anymore.
It's like
sure
they
you're
went,
not recording.
Cut, nailed it, guys. Like, woof, we really fooled them. It's such bad. I've seen comics do better skits off their phones. Like than that. Like that's, if you believe that, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're dumb. You really thought that if this was real, let's play it out as if it's real. So you're telling me if this is a real organization that they're trying to be some serious new, I don't want to say white nationalists, but just some nationalist movement where they're like going to take back America and they want to be taken seriously by the masses and the government and be feared. They're going to not watch back what they just recorded and then put that out. Like, it's just basic shit, dude.
I mean, so if that was leaked, right? So hypothetically, this group exists and they're extremely not online, right? Like, or at least not in normal places. Which, like, the first time that I heard of Patriot Front was when they did that like surprise march at the whatever.
The minute I saw that, I was like, "This is Fed shit." Like,
yeah, well, I was like, "That's
they're wearing like riot gear, knee pads, and like they're all hiding their faces. Not a single one accidentally didn't like slip. It's just such. I'm sorry to cut you off, but yeah.
And there's that one dude that looks like that one long-haired dude that was like making that was talking, that like made some speeches and stuff, because I checked out their website. But like, I had never heard of them, and I am extremely online. Yeah. And I'm also like not afraid of 4chan. So like, I'll go and if I hear something, I'll go to 4chan and I'll look around and see, I'll lurk and see what people are talking about and see if what I heard about is anywhere in there. And like, I'd never heard of them. And then to see that, I was like, really? So I don't know. Maybe they're real. Maybe they are. But I don't know. I mean, dude.
Sure, anything could be real.
I mean, maybe, but I tell you, it looks like they're probably organized by federal agents, and there's probably a handful of guys that are actually really don't like Jewish people and black people.
I guess my follow-up to the whole the Patriot Front thing is they're still sticking with I feel like the feds are still going with the whole, we have a bunch of racist problem and like we have to go after, because now they're saying like, oh, if you are just liberty minded, you're a white nationalist. Like if you care about your kids' education, you're a fucking white. Like the shift is so completely
if you support liberalism, then you are a white nationalist,
right?
Because to the progressives that are the people that are the ones that are really pushing this, it comes from critical theories, and critical theories reject liberalism. They reject rationality. They reject thinking logically. They embrace and these are things that have come from this book by Gene Stefanchik and Robert Delgado called Critical Race Theory and Introduction. Like, they reject liberal principles in favor of authoritarian principles. So like, to be surprised, or being surprised that they act like authoritarians, like they are not liberals. They're not, they believe that everything is a hierarchy, just like Marx. Like, it's all Marxism, it's based in Marxism, and instead of a class system, or instead of a class system, it's a race system. So if you believe in meritocracy, then you believe in white supremacy. If you believe in liberal ideas, those are white supremacist ideas because they were created by white men. So that, like, they really believe that, and They really believe that is infecting the United States government via the bureaucracy. So it's super hard to get out once it gets in. It is in there. It is being implemented in schools. It's being taught to children. So you are going to have a generation of children that believe things like property rights are immoral, and it's going to destroy America.
Agreed.
That is 100% what is going to happen. That's why all the left libertarians, like, they need to be not part of the Libertarian party, because you can't well, the thing is, you can't say that you don't believe in property rights. You can't be a Marxist if you believe in a distinction between private property and private property and personal property, right? That like Marxists make those distinctions. And if you don't believe in a distinction between private property and personal property, you're not a Marxist, right? That's all there is to it. And if you are a Marxist and you don't believe in private property, that means that America doesn't work without private property. Like our entire system doesn't work. Like not just a capitalist system, but like a free society. Because to Marxists and to progressives, capitalism is the system. In the way that I understand it, capitalism results from private property rights and liberty protected by the state. If there is a legitimate use for the state, it must protect property rights and the rights of the right to life, liberty, and property. Like, that's it. If it's legitimate. And Marxists don't believe in property rights. So without property rights, you can't have America. And if you can't have America, then,
in Pennsylvania, people are tired of hearing me say this, but I'm the fucking dumb board rep for the state party for Bucks County.
Sure.
So I'm involved in all the state meetings, and I deal with a lot of people in the state, and it's a real shit fire. It's a real shit show. We have a group chat right now between everyone in the state of Pennsylvania. So all the Mises guys like myself and everybody else versus all the fucking cathedral people and all the mill people and all the non-caucus people. And it's a true Silent Hill Centralia dumpster fire. Like it's just insults. Nothing gets done. And now people have invited other people from outside of the party into the chat for outside of the state. Like fucking what's his face from the Faketarians and all this shit. And I'm like, what are we doing? I'm like, this is just getting worse. Like we're never gonna be able to fix anything here. We're never gonna be able to mend a bridge if you just keep bringing in more and more diverse. And I don't mean diversity in the good way. I meant like diverse people, people being dysfunctional.
The problem is liberalism doesn't have a means to deal with illiberal ideologies, right? Like, if the left doesn't believe in the same things that liberals believe in, but liberals will hear them out, right? And then the left BS's you, so they share your dictionary, but they don't, or they share your glossary, but not your dictionary. The words don't mean the same things when you use them, right? Like, to a Marxist, words that you think you're familiar with mean something different. That's why people say, oh, racism isn't prejudice against someone because of their skin color. Racism is power and prejudice. And because in society, POC don't have any power, they can't be racist. That's how it works in their head. But they're using a word that everybody up until 5 minutes ago had the understanding that it meant prejudice against someone based on the color of their skin. Right? Like, so you go your whole life thinking that's what racism is. Then the Marxists come out and they say, nope, it's actually privilege plus power. That's what racism is. And we're going to use the term interchangeably. So there are times when someone's going to do some racist shit that you're going to say that's racist, and we'll say that's racist too. But then there are going to be times when someone will do some racist shit that we don't consider racist because we're going to go under this definition instead of that definition. They intentionally do not they intentionally do not want clarity. And so that's why they're bringing up people into your group chat, because the more they can muddy the waters, the more frustrated you guys get, the more the less you get done, the more likely it is that people will say, screw it, we can't do it, I'm going to leave. And then they'll just go ahead and reassume power. It's all a power game, and it's straight up evil.
The people who say things like racism is about power and all that stuff is usually, and I'm saying this from experience, 55-year-old men who live off their girlfriends who are still waiters at like some fucking bar somewhere. Like it's like I'm like, yeah, why the fuck would I listen to you? Like it's like all these people who are so like anti-property rights and anti this and anti that. It's like, you guys live in fucking squalor. And like, why the fuck would I listen to? Why would I take your advice of how things should be when I have a fucking house, 2 fucking cars, a wife, a dog? Like, I have a fucking property.
See, you're wrong for having those things. You're wrong for having those things. You're wrong for wanting those things, because it's not
Right.
because you having those things means someone else has less. So you're wrong for those. So you're immoral for those things. For you even owning a home and having property and being able to support yourself, you are immoral, because there are people out there that don't. Now, don't you feel bad? How dare you?
Yeah.
That's
No,
exactly what they do. And
true.
it is disgusting. And
Yeah.
that's why if you're dealing with a leftist, you cannot come to an agreement with them, because they are dishonest. They're not coming from a place they're not coming from a place they're not arguing from a place of honesty. I watched Vosh go on Michaela Peterson's podcast recently, and listening to him talk to Michaela Peterson, I'm like, I don't find anything objectionable about anything that Vosh said, right? Like very, I'm sorry, not anything, very little, right? But then I hear him when he's not on Tim Pool or Michaela Peterson's podcast, and he's just the most offensively lefty, gross guy ever. But he knows how to play it,
Right.
But he because he's dishonest when he goes on to conservative broadcasts,
Right. Also, did he make mad money off his channel? And
yeah.
Where's that lefty bull? And it's that's actually, just to go right into your point that you just made about how they're dishonest. I read something about that, and then and then of course they defend it. They go, nothing says we can't have money as a Marxist. It's like, oh, I thought it did though. I thought that was your whole thing. It was the common good or whatever the fucking share of wealth and prosper and all that nonsense you guys fucking so love. But not when you make the money. Then it's let's stop this bullshit.
You're totally right. And the thing is, like, when you think about it, like you look back in the 60s when there were all these communes popping up in the US and stuff, and people were attempting communism all over the place because of, a lot of the Marxism in colleges and stuff like that. And none of them worked. They all fell apart. And in America, you can have a commune that works. And if you go ahead and you have a religious commune, you can have it tax-free. So there's no taxes on your property and blah, blah, blah. You guys work your land or whatever. You can do that in America. But if you live in a communist country or an authoritarian big government country, you can't just be like, well, I'm going to go over here and be left alone. Sorry, left alone. Wrong answer. There ain't no left alone. So.
As you know, a lot of comics, obviously, just like musicians, lean left. So you see that a lot in the comedy world, where they'll just this fucking mindset of just this how things they think are, with, again, how you should say things, how you should, and then they'll get on stage and just do the same thing that you might have done, but there's an excuse why they could do it. It's like, well, no, I'm highlighting, this, or it's like, no, you're just using whatever excuse you want, whatever you want, black people, fucking gay, trans, whatever category you want to throw in there, you're using it under the guise of like, well, I could do it because I feel this way about it, so it's fine.
The ultimate of that is like, well, it was bad when the Nazis killed a bunch of Jews, but it was perfectly fine when the commies killed a bunch of kulaks, or it was perfectly fine when the commies killed millions and millions of people. It's really bad when the Nazis did it, but the commies were totally fine. No, dummy, it was bad. Both of them were bad, dummy. Right. It's like you don't get to say, well, because we were trying to go for the utopia on Earth, the multicolored utopia on Earth, it's okay. But they were trying to go for a single colored utopia on Earth, and that was bad. No, you're both bad, dummies.
Right, you're both wrong. Both of you could be wrong. I don't know if you guys know this, but one doesn't have to be right.
You're both stupid and shitty. Knock it off.
it is interesting doing comedy and being like outspoken with liberty shit though, because a lot of people will not even associate with me without ever meeting me before. I won't, for sure. I will not get booked in some places, especially cities, like for sure, 100%. They're like, fuck
In
this
cities,
guy.
really?
Oh yeah, because they're all liberal. So like Philly and shit, like they're all like, not everybody. I mean, I do have friends obviously, but like a lot of them are like, oh, that's the fucking racist right winger guy. It's like, yeah, nailed it. That's exactly what it's like. It's not worth my time arguing that.
Yeah.
But for sure, a lot I won't even get booked or looked at. But like, I do notice now more and more comics come on to me privately all the time, and they'd be like, so what's up with like the inflation? Or like, what's up with Bitcoin? Or like, what's up with the war? And I'm like, oh, now you fucking have questions, motherfucker. But they're always silent, like, with their belief. But more and more recently, I'll have people like in green rooms and shit, and we'll be talking about like government and like the evils of government and like why like, inflation's bad and why you just can't print money and why war is bad. Like the basic shit that you and I and everybody listening to this shit know. They'll be like, oh, okay, so this is bad because that, and you're like, yeah, now you get it, and like, okay, but still, a lot of people are like, fuck you fucking racist, and it's like, whatever,
I get a whole lot of what gun should I get for my first gun? So I've been looking at I'm thinking about getting a handgun. What should I get? Or stuff like that, because people know that I'm a gun guy or whatever.
Right. Dickie making a good point. To them, Stalin was never a dictator and never killed people. Yeah.
That's right.
Like they'll say that. Like he wasn't. Oh, they'll say the numbers. They're like, they can kill 30 million people. That's bullshit. It's like, okay. You fucking psychopath.
Say Hitler didn't kill 6 million Jews and see what happens. Like both of those statements are ridiculous. The idea that Hitler didn't kill 6 million Jews or millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of Jews. I don't want to hear anybody in the fucking chat with, the number.
Well, it's going to happen now. That's going to happen. Now it's going to happen. It's your own fault.
He killed 6 million. In fact, he killed 6,000,002. I know. Fuck you. I know it happened.
You can't say that, especially me, a comic on a comedy kind of podcast. People can be like, well, now I'm going to take that joke and just run with it. So that's a mistake. Yeah. Here, fuck it right away. I mean, what I say. That's your fault.
Sounds a bit high or not. What a scumbag.
You opened that floodgate.
Of course I did. Yeah, right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. The whole time we've been talking about how shitty they are, not talking about how shitty Nazis are, and then then someone's like, "Well,
Hey, I'll be honest with you. If I was in the chat, my fingers would be hovering over that same exact joke.
Like, do it! I dare you!
Like, say it, motherfucker! It's a layup, motherfucker! It's a layup. I'll hit that shit 400 feet. Fucking
it's like hovering.
I'll self-hit that home run, dude. You can't pass up on that. That's the other thing too about like I'm a comic first. Before anything else, before liberty, before fucking serious shit. So if I hear something in my brain, it's like, that's a fucking joke. I'm saying it. Like it's going out there. I'll ruin moments. I'll ruin family events. I don't give a fuck. I'm like, it's worth it now. I'm saying it.
Yeah, because now everyone's going to go, but then the story later is going to be great.
Exactly. Yeah. I've ruined so many things off that, but I'm like, it was worth it. And you guys are going to hate me now. But 5 years from now, remember when Adam said that crazy thing? It's like, I know. I live for that because like comic again, we have such different jobs. Like musicians, everyone
they're not different. The only difference is the size of the production.
No, dude, I'm telling you, like, okay, I'm gonna put some perspective for you that you don't understand because you're a musician. Do people go up to you after a show and they go, man, I could fucking do that? Because I guarantee they don't, dude. I guarantee they don't, Phil.
People do not do that to me.
Let me tell you something, though, Brother Bear. Guess what they do after our shows? Oh, I'm pretty funny, too. Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, you're pretty in the audience, too, dude, asshole.
It's wild. So people will look at musicians. This is the respect meter for entertainment. Up here, okay, is musicians and actors and actresses, right? That's top. You guys are top, man. People suck your fucking dick. They're like, we love you. We cannot do this, right? Then it's literally everything else. Then it's clowns, mimes, and then fucking comedians, Phil.
You guys are better than mimes.
Yeah,
you actually
show
tell
me
jokes.
that we are. Show me that we are, because we don't get that respect. People go, I can't do mime stuff. But we'll go,
I'm dying right now. That's why.
But people will go up to us and be like, I have a joke for you. Fuck you. Go fucking tell me that you can have a better tag than the thing I wrote for 4 years.
Hold on. I get that, dude, because people come up and they're like, yo, check out my band. And I'm like, what makes you think that I want to?
But it's still it's still different. They're just like, hey man, maybe we could open for you one day if you like my band. People come up to me straight and be like, you suck. Here's a better joke. Here's a better joke
exactly.
than that.
It's not just like, oh man, I'd love to work with you. It's like, I want to take your place because you're awful and I know I'm better than you.
Dude, it happens so much where now I'm just like, I'm not even blown away by it anymore. I'm like, yeah, man, sure. Do it. Do it.
Okay. You got me.
That's the equivalent of I just got the brand new Bronco a few months ago, and I was like super excited. Like I was like, I really wanted that car. I had to wait for like a year and a half because like delays. So like when I finally got it, it looks sick.
On a Jeep right now.
I'm excited. You know, like the Bronco's fucking cool. I walk out to my mailbox one day, and the Amazon guy is parked next to my Bronco, and he's like checking it out. And and he's like, "This yours?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." Like I'm all excited, and he just goes, kind of boxy. Fuck you, dude. Like, who the fuck are you? Like, I'm like, he just starts trashing my car after that. He's just being like, oh, you know, Jeep's nicer. I'm like, cool, man. You could have said nothing. You could have just said nothing and just kept doing your fucking job. And not just, like, but it's like shit like that I get as a comic all the time. Just like people like, you know, the joke at the end wasn't as good as like, you could have wrote it this way. It's like, okay, man, I guess, yeah. It's like I don't know. Like, but you guys, no one does that. So fuck you.
No, I mean you're right. That is true. Like people don't come up to me and say, man, very rarely does anyone come up and say, oh, I could have sang that better. You know, or I that scream, I could do that better. So
no one goes to DiCaprio and was like, I could have fucking acted the fuck out of you, Titanic, bro. But they're like, that dick joke was subpar. It's like, okay. It's a dick joke. They're all supposed to be subpar.
Yes, they are. It's the point of them. They're dick jokes.
Literally the fucking point of them. So what do you got coming up then, dude? With the band, since now everything's opening back up. Like, so what's the?
We got a tour that starts March 12th in Worcester. Hold on one second. Hey, go lay down. No one wants to hear from you. Get in there. Get in there.
As you do that, I think I hear my dog outside my door being like, "Let me in."
Mine is yeah, there we go. Pupper patrol right now.
He's like, "Dad, what are you doing?"
Yeah. I have to give mine quiet, you know.
My
treats.
Me and my wife don't have kids together.
Look at that.
So she dresses my male dog up in gay stuff.
Like, that's all right. He doesn't mind. He'd humble boy mind. Anyways.
No, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. So tour is coming back up.
Yes. So we are doing a big tour come March 12th. We're doing a 15-year celebration of the Fall of Ideals. It's a record that came out in 2006.
Wow.
Be on tour
Crazy.
for 2
college.
months.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I was just about 30. Or no, actually I was 26, 2006. Yes, 26. No, 31. Jesus Christ.
I remember,
anyways,
dude, I'm going to date you even more. I remember I was playing semi-pro football at that time, and I remember like, and I remember listening to you guys like pump myself up before games sometimes. Like you were like some of your songs were like on my playlist of pump up stuff. Rules. How fucking old are we?
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
So we got that tour, and we've got a Twitch channel and a YouTube channel that we're like putting a whole ton of focus on. We're streaming regularly. We're going to be streaming rehearsals. We're going to be streaming the tour. It's it's twitch.tv/allthatremains. And then we'll be doing a new record this year, and there will be touring to follow after that as well.
Dude, that's awesome. Any other things coming up that you want to plug before we get out of here?
No, the tour is the big thing. You check out our stream. It's allthatremains.tv. I'm sorry, twitch.tv/allthatremains. We stream regularly. We're trying to get people to check that out because we want people to come and watch the tour and stuff while we're out and hang out. So
that's awesome. Yeah, you stream a lot yourself too, right? Like
yeah,
just playing
usually
music.
3-4 times a week at least.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Twitch is another thing that like, what am I gonna do? Build a Twitch following? I'm not. Like, like I'm just not.
The thing is for us, because there's a lot of tie-in with video games because of stuff like Rocksmith and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
For us, it's really good. Plus, there's kids love to see artists playing music and stuff on Twitch. It's
no, for sure. It
started out with video games, but then like music quickly became one of the things that people dig. Obviously, boobies and
yes.
Hot tubs, which are just plastic pools that some 6 set up in her room and filled with water and writes people's names on their arm.
Dude, if I was a hot chick in my 20s, there was 0% chance I would have any real job. I would 100% be OnlyFans, 100%, or I would be like a Twitch chick, even if I was moderately attractive, because there's so many simp dudes out there who just throw fucking money at these chicks.
Just gotta be a 6. Just gotta be one step above average. Be a 6.
I'd fucking crush it. I would be the prissiest hot chick of all time. I'd be like,
I will.
Don't
I
do
would
that.
pay the rent. I would pay the rent with pictures of my butthole.
Do not care. I'm furious. I'm a dude.
It's a drag.
No, actually, it's not true. It's awesome, but like, it's actually way better. I'd rather be a dude. But like, the opportunities I missed out being a hot chick, I think, or money. That's the thing. Like, right, money for sure. I'm missing out.
Everyone
on money.
like. It's probably better to be a male, probably, but in overall. But if you had your choice of being a male or a 5'2" smoke show chick, I would be the 5'2" smoke show chick because life is easy mode.
That's so much easier.
In any other context, I would probably go with being a male. But if I could be a 5'2", 3. Smoking hot chick, that's what I would pick.
I know,
because that's life on easy mode. Anything else, if you're an average girl or whatever, like it's probably better to be a man. But if you are the top tier 10 looking hot chick, then it's life on easy mode.
I'd also feel like I'd be such a whore, even if like for free, if I was a hot chick. It's almost like that Patrice O'Neill joke where he's like, if I was a hot chick, the price of pussy would drop tremendously, like the stock. I would just be giving it out all the time. It's
right.
A brilliant joke.
If I was a woman, I better not have my libido as well. Like it better be a female libido because man, I'll never walk again.
Yeah, I just put my head out the window like a fucking like an old school movie. Like, you want to fuck? This is some random dude. I'd be the worst. I'd be such a piece of shit.
I'd have my car set up so I could drive it with my ass hanging out the window at the same time.
Imagine just being a 5'2" smoke. You're getting fucking fucked in some yacht, and you don't have to do shit. You're getting served all day, dude. Fuck, man. Hot chicks rule. That's the life. You guys don't understand it. I have to think of jokes like an asshole. I have to fucking think with my own brain. It sucks. Dude, do all the extra work. You guys just be hot. Damn it. But I could throw a punch. That's pretty cool.
I'm too short. My arms aren't long enough.
Phil, brother Red, thank you, dude, so much for coming on and doing this with me. Everybody, you guys know where to find me at Adam Nutter on all the stuff. Yeah, that's it. Again, coming out to all the comedy shows. We've got February 12th. Pop in Chalfont, Pennsylvania, our monthly show coming out. Droptent.com/events. 2 shows, 7 to 9:30. We'll be hosting Neil and myself as usual coming out. And again, we'll be on the road this year. Again, Phil, thank you, and everybody else, peace.
Thanks for listening. Find Adam on social media, Twitter and IG at Adam Nutter, or Facebook and TikTok at Adam Nutter Comedy. And for podcasts and merch, check out www.droptent.com. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.
This has been a Drop Tent Media production.